Hey everyone, welcome back. So, I have a very sweet husband. He pays me a lot of compliments as sweet husbands do. But last week we were watching TV and he just blurted out the sweetest thing that I heard in a while. He was like, honey, you remind me of Mrs. Maisel. I was like, who does not want to be like Midge, right? She is confident, she is funny, she is witty, she loves her family, she fights for what she believes in, and most importantly, she has the most fabulous wardrobe in television. So I thought that with the launch of the 4th season, that is super fun and I totally advise you to watch it. I thought we could delight ourselves into a little bit of the best fashion moments in the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Before we get to that, I just want to ask you a little favor. I am coming around to my first anniversary here on YouTube in a couple of weeks. I will have been doing this for a whole year, which has been amazing, but I would also love to do a Q&A, either related to YouTube Live or not, but I think it would be fun for me to share with you some, facts about me, something that maybe you're curious to ask and that I haven't touched upon on this channel. So feel free to leave a comment below with a question and I will be more than happy to answer on that video. So let's start. Okay, so we have to start with the main character, that is Midge Maisel. Midge seems to be a fashion aficionado like all of us. She believes in the power of looking the part and of dressing up, which I think is a very great value of the show because they try to reflect something that is not very common, which is just because you like dressing up or just because you like fashion and style doesn't mean you have to be superficial. Midge is very confident, Midge is very interesting, smart, and she also likes to be girly and to dress up, and there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that in the show, and there is nothing wrong with that in real life. Another big lesson that we can draw from Midge is having fun with fashion. You can see that she's always at the cusp of the latest trend from the time. She is always adding new hats, fun prints, details to her wardrobe. I mean, her Catskills wardrobe is out of this world amazing, and she just has the confidence and the desire to pull it off. So it's that classic fake it till you make it. In some people, that same outfit might look ridiculous, but just because you are owning it and you look like you're having fun with it, it looks beautifully chic. Something else that the writers did very smartly was to construct a journey for her that even though she was going through a very tough time in her life with her marriage falling apart, having to work, having to rediscover herself, she just dresses up more. I think it's very common for TV shows and films to portray women who are going through a tough phase kind of becoming more masculine or tougher or more androgynous or even sloppy. In Midge's case, the more trouble she gets in her life, the more fabulous she looks, which I think is a great life lesson. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling blue, if you feel like you are not the main character in your life, dress up. Don't dress down. A third lesson that I think Midge can teach us is to find your signature look. She talks about this in the first episode of the 1st season, how she found her signature hairstyle when she was just a little girl. And I think that is so useful, just having that hair that can always turn to when you don't know what to wear or when you're not feeling great about yourself. But if you pay attention to the details in the other episodes, you see that she does have a pattern in other areas of her life. So for instance, she always wears her wristwatch. She has a color palette that revolves around jewel tones and rosy hues that go really well with her skin tone. And to do her stand-ups, we see her wearing amazing cocktail dresses, usually black, finished off with beautiful red lipstick. In her more casual looks, there is also a lot to absorb. For instance, In this look, she is wearing these high-waisted burgundy cigarette pants coordinated with this chartreusey yellow greenish olive shirt that seems to be made of a jersey-like fabric with a cowl neck and a sash. She finishes it off with a thick belt that accentuates her waist, some beautiful clip-on earrings, and you got yourself a fabulous look. Also here, we see again that casual does not have to be boring. She's wearing a mustardy yellow coat with a burgundy top underneath that has a sort of slash neckline that makes it a little bit more interesting. A headband, gorgeous clip-on earrings, and there. Simple, practical, but very polished. Midge also wears a lot of dresses and skirts in her off-duty looks. And here she is wearing one of my favorite ever pieces of clothing, the pleated midi skirt. We should do a drinking game. Every time I say pleated midi skirt in a video, you guys should take a shot. Let me know what happens. She also opts for a lot of co-ords, not just in terms of pieces and items of clothing, but even coordinating accessories with the colors that she's wearing. Enough of Midge. Let's get to the real style hero of the show, Rose Wiseman. She is my absolute favorite character from the show, not only from her style but also her personality and the way that she speaks. Clearly, Midge gets her love for fashion from her mom, which becomes very evident when Midge steals a bunch of dresses from Rose's closet, which just goes to show when you dress chic and when you dress classic, your style knows no generational boundaries. Unlike Miriam, who dresses a little bit younger, a little bit more exuberant and vibrant, which I think is a reflection not only of her age, but also of the time period in which she is. It's very much an end of 1950s and beginning of 60s kind of look. Rose, on the other hand, I think is more of what I would describe as an end of 1940s and beginning of 50s. So you still get those silhouettes and elements from the 50s, but there is still a little bit of austerity. So in her color palette, in the silhouettes that she chooses to wear, even in the fabrics, everything is a little bit more subdued. In 90% of the show, you can see Rose wearing 3/4 length sleeves and knee-high pencil skirts, which I think is very much akin to that time period. But that does not mean things have to get boring, because Rose serves us with the most fabulous jewelry collection ever. If you like jewelry, especially vintage, you should just watch the show for Rose. Bracelets, brooches, necklaces, earrings, oh my god. If I could steal from a set, never take me on a tour of the set of the Marvelous Mrs Maisel. It will be embarrassing, okay? Rose is also an old-fashioned traditional gal, and she believes in dressing for the right occasions. So she's a very elegant and very chic person that will try to look her best, but also appropriate for the moments in which she is inserted. For instance, if you take a look at her breakfast looks, whenever she's eating her daily dose of grapefruit, she will probably be wearing one of her very fabulous but very practical house coats. Same thing when she goes to Scarsdale to visit her family's oil plant. She still looks like Rose, but it's an interpretation that is a little bit more practical, a little bit more casual. She's wearing, I think, even Texan cowboy boots. So dressing for occasions but not being overdressed for occasions is a great lesson. Another feature of Rose's character that I really like is the fact that she lived in Paris through her youth, and you can really see how that has affected her, not only in terms of mindset and of life philosophy, but also in her style. She is very European. She has this very European elegance air about her. I can really relate to that. Having moved to Milan, I feel those changes happening, and I think it's really fun to see, for instance, when she goes back to Paris and spends some time there, she kind of lives as Parisians do, which I think is a great thing to do no matter where you are in the world. And finally, Rose is a lesson in gesturing and composure. The actress that plays her, Marion Hinkle, is a genius in body language. The way she chooses to move her hands, her deportment, the way she walks, the way she sighs, the tone of her voice, her facial expressions, everything is so calculated and reflects that image of elegance and poise in such a clean yet meaningful and perceptible way. I've seen interviews of the actress outside of the show and they are completely different people, which just goes to show how much gesturing can collaborate and can contribute to building a person's personality and image. Final character that I want to talk about is a little bit of polemic one because we are supposed to hate her, but I love Sophie Lennon. I think she is so funny. The fact that her persona, the character that she created to become a comic, and her real self are complete polar opposites just makes for an amazing storyline. So unexpected, but so funny. And I love how in real life she is very wealthy, she is very clueless, and the style that they choose to dress her in is that kind of eccentric, larger than life, almost Gloria Swanson-esque New York socialite with a twist of pretentiousness that is just perfect for her character, and again completely different from what her persona wears for the sets. I just think that it's so entertaining. I think she's an unsung hero, to be quite honest, because if you think about it, she preceded Midge in comedy as a woman, and Midge is very celebrated and Sophie is very demonized, but she was there before. She paved the way, so I think we should be rooting for her as well. She is also a lover of the arts, of the theater, of literature, and in my opinion, she is very generous because everybody that goes to her house leaves with a beautiful fur coat. Give her props. She deserves it. And I think we can wrap up this video going through a few styling hacks because you guys know how much I love my styling hacks. I will just open a few pictures on my computer and we will go through them together. This is what I was talking about before, how Midge kind of color coordinates her look. This is something that she wore when she was leaving the Catskills and she took a ride home. She is wearing this gingham check pattern cord that is a little jacket with some shorts, very summery. And the color coordination comes not only from combining her jacket with her shorts, but her shirt and her headscarf are the same shade of pink. Very feminine, very lovely. Mental note to do that this summer. This one from Sophie, something that we've been through 1,000 times, but again, a higher neck shirt with a statement necklace, some clip-on earrings, and your hair out of your face will do wonders. Again, evidence that fashion is a genetic thing here. Both Wiseman girls wearing one, beautiful shades of jewel tones, two, amazing fabulous hats that are coordinated with other pieces and items in their look. Third, 3/4 sleeves with long elbow gloves. You guys know how I love that look. This little number from Rose I think is quite simple but quite fabulous, with her very pale shades that she wears a lot. In this case is a gray and a light blue, with a necklace with multiple rows, bracelet, clip-on earrings, hair away from her face. It's so easy. We look at looks from the 50s and we think they are very complex and very hard to achieve. But I do think that they were experts in achieving the most with the least bit of effort. Of course, you can go very intense with styling with that era, I guess, but they were people just like us. They had to live a life just like us. They had to do things, groceries, pick up their kids from school, go to work, get on the subway. People in the 50s used to do these things just like us, but the only difference is that they did it with more style. So there you go. Maybe it's something that we can all add to our lives. So this is it, everyone. These are my favorite fashion tips and tricks and fashion moments from the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Hopefully you enjoy this. Let me know down in the comments if you watch the show, which are some of your favorite moments or characters, and we will see each other again next time. Bye!